Namaste. It's always a great pleasure to interact with young minds. That actually compelled me to take some risk in reaching here by traveling the whole night. When I say I traveled the whole night, you must be thinking that I was probably coming from Hyderabad or somewhere. I was coming from Paris. I traveled all night. But while traveling, I was thinking, what should I tell you all? Because before me, our Sangha's senior Adhikari Mukundaji also addressed you. So suddenly it occurred to me that one conversation I had yesterday in Paris must be the starting point for our conversation today. I had an interaction, I had a dinner meeting with many prominent Parisians, Paris citizens of Paris, former ministers, serving MEPs, ministers of European Parliament, members of European Parliament, etc. They were all watching India closely. The kind of transformation that is happening in India is being closely observed by them. They are also, quote unquote, nationalistic in their thinking. They are also proud of their France's culture, French history. The question that was uppermost in their minds was, how could Mr. Modi achieve this transformation? Because we are also trying in France, but we are not able to rid our universities of wokeism, our politics of left liberal influence, our social system of illegal immigrants. Whereas in India, we hear that, today the nationalist school of thought is so hugely popular, and Mr. Modi is extremely popular, and your universities are cleansed of these left liberal gangs, and today a very good nationalist atmosphere prevails all over the country. How could you do that? What is the secret? I told them, see, of course, Prime Minister Modi and his government has been very popular, undoubtedly. But there is one more reason. In India, there is something called the RSS. It is that organization which actually generates that grassroots transformation, creates that grassroots transformation. So because their question was, we were also trying to, bring in changes in our universities in Paris, but we don't find people. I told them, this people question, right people who can lead this change in the society are created not necessarily by politics or government, but by organizations like RSS. Last year, I was at the Harvard. Harvard is the bastion of, you can say, left liberals. I mean, in Harvard, if you are seen as anything to do with right-wing ideology or a nationalist ideology, nobody will come to sit with you on a table, even to partake of your meal. They won't talk to you. You will be boycotted. You will not get any mails. So you will become like an untouchable. That is the kind of atmosphere that prevails in universities like Harvard, which President Trump is trying to change. He's trying very hard. I mean, he's using all the high-handed measures also to do that. But they are not able to succeed. But when I went, I met a group of law students, Harvard Law. 10, 12 of them came. They have a group in Harvard Law College called Conservative Law Students of Harvard. It's a small group, very few. As I said, if you are a conservative, means you are boycotted. You will face all sorts of challenges. But these 10 fellows were able to create that group. Remember, those who go to Harvard, especially to Harvard Law and all, come from very big, rich backgrounds. They come from rich families. I mean, these boys and a couple of girls also came from very prosperous, rich families in America. They're all American. None of them was an Indian. All of them were Americans. We were discussing about how in India things have changed over the last few years, how today the nationalist ideology is not only accepted but even respected, that supported by everybody, and all that we were discussing. One boy suddenly said, "Can we start an American RSS? Can we have an RSS of America version?" I said, "How do you know RSS?" He said, "No, sir, we closely follow. We know that the changes that are happening in India are because of RSS." Those boys know in Harvard. At 100, this is what RSS has to its credit today. If there is a good transformation that is witnessed in India, not just in India, but globally, the transformation in India that is noticed globally is today attributed to what the RSS has done silently for 100 years at the grassroots. As probably Mukundaji told you, creating those people at the grassroots who are the transmitters of this transformation, who are the vehicles of this transformation. That is the challenge. Ideology can be there. India needs so-and-so type of ideology that anybody can say. Ideology needs to be manifested in individuals. You need people. The RSS has created those people across the country. Today, they are visible in some places, like, Prime Minister Modi is visible because he is the Prime Minister. But there are innumerable invisible leaders across the country, from forests to villages to towns to colleges to industry to schools. Everywhere you have people who are leading this transformation. At 100, if you want to understand RSS, you have to see those leaders. You have to understand those leaders. RSS cannot be understood. RSS is very difficult to understand, very easy to misunderstand. But the easiest way to understand RSS is to see an RSS man. You see an good RSS Karyakarta. There are, you come across millions of them. Then you will understand RSS. That's the best and easiest way to understand. That's why in RSS we say, if you want to know Sangha, come to Sangha. Don't try to know Sangha through books or through articles. Sangha is something that has to be understood by living it, by experiencing it, but not just reading it, about it. This 100-year journey of the RSS is fascinating. You see, in the world, there will be you can count them on your fingers, organizations which have survived for 100 years or more, which are not governments, not countries, but small non-governmental organizations. At the most, you can say, sir, Red Cross is there. Yes, Red Cross is 160-year-old organization. But Red Cross survives on the philanthropy of governments in the world. If those governments stop giving money and support to Red Cross would have been finished long ago. It survives because of the government. There are some organizations which have 100-year-old history, but you can find them only in buildings. They have some buildings. You will probably find in Karnataka also. There will be some organizations that have 100-year-old buildings and all that. I'm talking about non-governmental organizations. Some mutts, etc. are a different case. Religion is a different matter. It survives. But important uniqueness of RSS is that at 100, it is growing. At 100, it is not something that is just a museum piece. At 100 also, it is growing. It's agile. This journey of RSS is very fascinating. The journey of the RSS is actually the story of the RSS. When the RSS was started in 1925 by one freedom fighter, a medical doctor, turned revolutionary, turned freedom fighter, turned an NGO leader. His name was Dr. Edgwar in Nagpur. He started it in 1925. He faced a lot of resistance when he started. First 25 years of the RSS, if you read, if you see, between 1925 and 1950, it had to endure a lot of opposition. People sometimes think, those who know about RSS history think that RSS problem started after independence when Gandhiji's murder was wrongly attributed to RSS. That's when the RSS problem started. That's what people think. No. When RSS was started, the then British government became suspicious of RSS. Moreover, Dr. Edgwar, the founder of RSS, was also actively participating in Congress movements for independence. So in early 1930s, those days RSS was limited to what used to be called as central provinces, CP and Berar. That is from Nagpur to Bhopal, that region, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Vidarbha, that region. Mostly RSS was there only because initially it started in Vidarbha side of Maharashtra, eastern Maharashtra. So the CP Berar legislature, in that the British introduced a bill banning RSS. This was in 1933-34. Not even 10 years. RSS also already had become come in the line of fire of the British. Fortunately, many people those days in that legislature, Indians, they knew Edgwar well. So they argued with the British leadership, British authorities, that no, RSS is not a danger to our country. They are not doing anything illegal. They are not against peace. So they should not be banned. So that attempt to ban the RSS was somehow prevented by well-wishers of RSS at that time. But remember, that is itself RSS faced the ire of the British. In fact, British in RSS we hear the story that there used to be a spy always behind Dr. Edgwar. Wherever Edgwar went, this fellow used to follow. Edgwar got wind of it. Some fellow is following me. He is a British fellow, British agent. Edgwar had this habit of morning walking and running. He had this habit. He used to walk and run for 5 kilometers, 4 kilometers for an hour, and then come back. So this fellow used to follow him behind. One day, Dr. Edgwar decided that let me take this fellow for a ride. He started running. He went on running. 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 8 kilometers, 10 kilometers. That fellow never had the experience of running so long. That poor fellow collapsed in between. Edgwar went some 15 kilometers and quietly came back. It's a funny story, but the fact remains that he used to be tailed by spies, British spies. So RSS had to endure that kind of situation even before independence also for its role to unite people and raise them to stand up against the British. Remember, those days RSS members used to take a pledge. Nowadays it's not compulsory. Only for one particular thing sometimes that pledge is implemented, otherwise it's not compulsory. But those days there used to be a pledge. That pledge used to begin with the statement, Bharat ko swatantra kar. What is our first mission? Make India independent. So people, they say that RSS never participated in freedom movement, etc. They don't know that the very pledge used to begin with this statement, that Bharat ko swatantra kar. Our first aim is to free India. Then of course, create a united Bharat. That was the remaining mission of the RSS. So right from British to the first independent Indian government had their own problems with RSS. We all know that before 1950, one of the major setbacks for RSS was this allegation that RSS was involved in murder of the Mahatma, Gandhiji. Gandhiji's murder happened on 30th January 1948. 26th February 26th February 1948, 25 days later, Sardar Patel, who was then the Home Minister of our country, also Deputy Prime Minister, writes a letter to Nehru. Just in 25 days' time, he writes a letter in which he says, I am following the investigation into Gandhiji's murder on a daily basis. I do not find any evidence to link RSS to this murder. Clear. Country's Home Minister stated it, that RSS had nothing to do with Gandhiji's murder. But Prime Minister Nehru continued the ban because he had this idea that no, I should not allow RSS to have any place in the country. In fact, his famous statement was, I shall not allow an inch of space in India for the saffron to flutter. Ek inch ka zameen bhi main nahi dunga, as if it is his grandfather's territory. That's a different story. But he had that kind of an attitude. I won't allow. But RSS withstood this kind of opposition in the first 25 years. It came out in flying colors. Courts have openly said that no, RSS had no role whatsoever in Gandhi's murder. In fact, at one point, Sardar Patel sends a message to RSS. I know you are not involved. Maybe some of your cadres give aggressive speeches and all. That I know. But there is no involvement of RSS in Gandhi's murder that I know. But can you do one thing? Can you merge RSS in Congress Sevadal and strengthen my hands? Look at the whole political game. There was a tussle going on between Nehru and Patel. There used to be a Congress voluntary organization. It is there even today also, but it's in a very, nobody really cares for it. But those days it used to be an important forum called Congress Sevadal, a voluntary group of youngsters in Congress. They used to attend to Gandhiji and Congress leaders and all that. The proposal was that RSS should merge in Congress Sevadal and strengthen Patel's hands. Against whom? Against Nehru. Had RSS agreed for that, ban would have been lifted one day, in one day. But RSS said, I will be ready to face the wrath of your government. I will not give up my aim, my mission. My mission is to unite the whole country. So first 25 years, RSS withstood the pressures and came out in flying colors. Next 25 years saw RSS gaining acceptability. Between 50 and 75 is the period when RSS acceptability across the spectrum grew stronger. Now, same Jawaharlal Nehru, who declared in early 50s that I shall not let the saffron fly even on an inch of our territory, in 1963, after the Chinese War, invited RSS to take part in the Republic Day parade shoulder to shoulder with the Indian Army. 2,500 RSS Swayamsevaks in full uniform marched together with the Indian Army on the Rajpath, Kartavya Pad we call it nowadays, on the Kartavya Pad, under Nehru's very gauge. There used to be a leader called J. Prakash Narayan. He was a staunch Congress Gandhian. In 1948, when the allegation that RSS was responsible for Gandhi's murder was spread across the country, Congress leaders used to provoke their own youngsters, their own party cadres, to go and attack RSS people. Especially in Maharashtra and other places, so many of our Karyakartas' houses were attacked, Karyakartas were attacked, lot of damage was done, RSS officers were attacked, and all that happened. One of those who provoked Congress Karyakartas to go and attack RSS was J. Prakash Narayan in 1948. Because he also was a staunch Gandhian, believed in the propaganda that RSS was behind the murder. But same J. Prakash Narayan in 1974 comes to an RSS program and tells the Karyakartas in Patna that, oh, RSS cadres, you are the only hope for me today. The transformation in 25 years, through the efforts of course, leaders like Guruji Golwalkar, the second chief of RSS, but also thousands of RSS Karyakartas had led to this opposition being converted into acceptance and respect for RSS. Then RSS played a major role, started playing a major role in national affairs. I don't call it national politics, national affairs. The very first occasion came in the third quarter, 1975 to 2000. The very first occasion came when India was pushed into emergency dictatorship by Indira Gandhi. All the leaders of all parties were arrested and put in jails. Who will fight Indira Gandhi's might? RSS stood up. RSS organized satyagrahas. Thousands went to jail. In fact, one group which led the largest number of cadres in an agitation against the emergency was RSS. 110,000 RSS Karyakartas were arrested and put in jails. 110,000 during emergency. So that is why even BBC, even international organizations said it was this probably lesser known organization RSS which was a main factor, main player in defeating the draconian emergency of Indira Gandhi. They all acknowledged. 2 years later, when emergency was lifted and Indira Gandhi was defeated at the hustings in elections, international media said RSS played a very big role. So third quarter began with RSS getting into playing a major role in national affairs. Then in the 80s, the question of illegal conversion, religious conversions using money, other kinds of enticements by Christian missionaries, that issue came up. A very big incident happened when a village, entire village called Meenakshipuram, entire village got converted to Christianity overnight. Then it became a big issue. How can the whole village get converted? You can understand 10 families, 15 families. How can everybody? So then that led to a lot of thinking. Then it came to light that a lot of bribery involved in, giving money and other enticements is involved in that. Then a nationwide agitation was launched against such illegal practices. India has freedom of religion. Anybody can opt for any religion. RSS fully supports it. But can you bribe people? Mislead people? Can you say that if you are a Hindu, you will go to hell? If you are a Christian, you will go to heaven? Can you say that? Is it a bus that one bus goes to one destination, another bus goes to another destination? That opposition led to a major nationwide yatra called Ekatmata Yatra in 80s. None of you were born at that time. I have seen the response of that yatra in places. Millions used to come to witness that yatra. It carried Ganga Jal to 5 corners of the country. 5 yatras went in 5 directions in a chariot-like vehicle. Millions used to throng. Congress, everybody, every party wala used to come. It created a great unity in the country and also a campaign against illegal conversions. Then of course Ram Janmabhoomi movement came. Again RSS was in the forefront. That history I don't go into because most of you probably would have read about it. So the third 25 years were the phase when RSS became active in national life of the country. And during that period, RSS created a number of organizations. Through those organizations also, RSS played a major role in transforming the society. The result was, by 2000, when the third quarter of RSS journey ended, when RSS Pracharak became the Prime Minister of India. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The last quarter we have seen, most of you are probably born, most of you are millennials, you were born around 2000, a little before or a little later. You have seen the rise of this movement, and last quarter, when it ended, when RSS has completed 100 years today, not only this RSS Pracharak who rose to become the Prime Minister is popular in the country, he is popular across the world. And today, that's why I started my presentation with those examples. That at 100 today, not only India, even American youngsters think, can we have an American RSS? In France, people think, how can we emulate RSS in France? That is the story of RSS that you have to understand. Not that there are not people who are critical of RSS. Today also RSS endures criticism. RSS never shies away from criticism, never afraid of it. But today, greater sections of our society understand RSS, appreciate it, support it, and many join and work in it also. So when you see some opposition here and there, don't think that RSS has a lot of opposition. No, RSS has some opposition. But I told you the stages which it has passed through, that opposition. Today, greater section of the society is with RSS. There are some fellows who keep opposing it. Don't worry about them. RSS doesn't worry about them too much. Let them be there. At 100 today, RSS has set itself a new agenda. That new agenda is called Pancha Parivartan. Now, 100 years happened and you have absolute acceptability in the country. You are the mainstream. RSS is the mainstream thought of this country today. I tell you something very interesting. I became the spokesperson of RSS in year 2001. One journalist called me for an interview on a TV channel. We used to get interview calls. I went. So he's still very active, very strongly anti all of us. Even today he's anti-RSS, anti-BJP. Well-known name. I don't want to take up that name. I don't want to mention the name, but he's a very strong anti-RSS guy. Respected journalist though, big senior journalist. So we had a half-an-hour interview. After the interview, we sat down for a cup of tea. He said something a confession he made. Madhavji, I have been a staunch critic of RSS by then for almost 10-15 years. Today he is a critic of almost 40 years now. But I'm talking about 2001, 2002. He said, I have been a critic of RSS for 15 years. I always used to say that you are the most dangerous people for this country. And I used to think that you are a fringe element, nobody will support you. We must educate people about the dangers of RSS and all that. I always used to write like that. I always used to do that. Look at me today. I am interviewing you. I am giving half an hour time to you to speak to the people. Because I thought you are the fringe. Actually, now I realize we are the fringe. You have become the mainstream. Even I am forced to interview you. So RSS today has occupied that space of the mainstream of our country. People, for the sake of opposing, may even oppose RSS political reasons, other reasons. But heart of hearts, nobody opposes the thought process of RSS. I tell you, I used to handle Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir for the BJP, and before that also in RSS I used to frequent the state. When Article 370 was removed in 2019, we just one year before that, we used to have an alliance with a local party called the PDP. There was a BJP-PDP government in Jammu and Kashmir. So the chief minister of that time was Madam Mehbooba Mufti. When Article 370 was removed, for some time she was also under house arrest. Afterwards she was also set free. Everybody was set free. I one day met her because we were together in the government. After all, so we are not enemies. And RSS never considers anybody as an enemy in any case. So I met her. I said, you see, what do you think about this whole thing that happened? She was, of course, very annoyed, very unhappy. But she said, Ramadhaji, I am not unhappy about you. I am not angry with you. Because I anyway knew that had you this, whenever you had this opportunity, you would do this. I knew that. We all knew that. You would do something like this to us. But my anger is against these people, this Mamata Banerjee, this Lalu Prasad Yadav, this Mulayam Singh Yadav. None of them are standing up for us. Nobody is standing up and saying that we will restore Article 370. You ask anybody today. Nobody will say 370 will be brought back, because they know if they say that, they will be doomed. The country doesn't want it. So when country doesn't want it, nobody wants it. So she said, my anger is against them. I told her, but there is one fellow, Digvijay Singh, he is promising that when Congress comes back to power, they will restore 370. You know what she said? She said, sir, who takes him seriously? He anyway knows that Congress is not going to come back. That's why he is making those promises. We are anyway not going to come back. What is going to? Let's promise. So the fact that 370 should go has wider acceptability. Same is about Ram Mandir. You know, for Ram Mandir construction, the RSS cadres undertook door-to-door campaign for collection of money. We decided that we want to build that temple using government money or political money. We will collect money from every citizen. You know how many households RSS cadres approached? 15 crore. Meaning almost 60 crore Indians. A family, you take 4 people. If you take 5, it is 75 crore. I mean, half of the country directly RSS cadres contacted and collected funds. I know those who gave money included people of all parties, even communists. With a request, sir, receipts पर हमारा नाम नहीं लिखना, नाम नहीं दिखना है. But we also want drop temple. I can give you innumerable examples like that, but not enough time. So everybody wanted temple. Everybody supported. Muslims, Christians, so many others gave support to that temple. Even, you know, when that inauguration happened in 2024 January, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, what was his complaint? His complaint was, why should only Modi inaugurate it? Not that he should not, it's not the right thing, temple should not be there. Why not I inaugurate it? That is the whole issue. Why don't you call me to inaugurate it? So why should there be a temple? No longer nobody will ask that question. That's what I'm saying today, that RSS thought is the mainstream thought of the country. You may oppose for political reasons, heart of hearts, you are with it. You have a deputy chief minister who sings in the assembly, Namaste Sadavatsale Matrubhume. You know that. RSS, that's why today decided that using this great advantage, the great support that the organization enjoys in the larger masses of the country, we should transform the masses and their action and behavior. Pancha Parivartan, 5 transformations are aimed at it. 1, we should all work for greater bonhomie, Sauhadra. Harmonious Bharat we have to build. We have to rise above casteism. We have to rise above communalism. We have to rise above religious differences, caste differences, and all those differences, we have to be united. Second is, we have to build a strong, good family value system. Our families have to be really strong. Today, family system is facing its worst challenge. Already our families are nuclear. The families are small. Even in that now, so many other things are, wokeism is coming. And many other challenges are coming. So we have to bring that glorious family system back. When I say family system back, a real sense, in its real sense, where a woman has as much say as a man in a family. That kind of family we want. Not a family dominated by men. We need to have families that have both men and women playing equally constructive, crucial role. Third is Swadeshi. We have to promote indigenous enterprises. We have to promote Indian industry, Indian economy. We have to strive for it. The problem with us, what Prime Minister Modi indicated by, criticizing Mechalai's system. Many people understood when he said Mechalai's influence should be removed, they thought English should be removed. No, he didn't mean that. You see, an average Japanese, if he has a made in Japan pen in his pocket, he will feel proud. An average American, if he has a made in America pen in his pocket, he feels proud. An average Indian feels proud when he has a made in Japan pen or a made in America pen in his pocket. Can we change this mindset? Can we be proud to have a made in India pen in our pocket? When we decide, people decide, then you will have Indian industry growing. You know, we all use these mobile phones. Do you know, India is the world's largest mobile market. Largest mobile market, larger than China in terms of mobile sales. But India doesn't have a single mobile manufacturing company. Why? Because if it is an Indian company, we don't buy it. Can we now try and promote Indian industry? That is what is Swadeshi. Fourth, environment. Going to be a big challenge for the entire mankind. But will it be left to the governments, or we will also do something? Right from tree planting to protection of water sources. In your colony there is a water source. Can you protect it? Can you do something about it, or you want government to do it? Keeping India clean. Can we do it, or leave it on the government? So environmental protection, environmental preservation is the fourth thing. And you will be surprised to know the fifth thing. Fifth thing is to enlighten our people about their fundamental duties. You know, those who call RSS as the organization that doesn't respect Constitution, they don't know. Today, it is the RSS, is the only organization which is talking about Article 51 of our Constitution. How many of you know about Article 51? Some people know. It enumerates 10 duties, fundamental duties of our people. Let me take 2 minutes to tell you some interesting story about it, and then we can close, then we can have discussion about it. When India's Constitution was being made, around that time, United Nations was also created. 1945 United Nations was created. At that time, United Nations also decided that we should have an international human rights charter. The entire world, every country should follow certain fundamental rights. It should grant people certain fundamental rights, irrespective of whatever form its government is. It may be a dictatorship, it may be a king-led or monarch-led government, it may be a democracy, it may be something else, whatever it is. But certain fundamental rights should be ensured to all citizens. So what happened was, one letter was sent to 50 people in the world, 50 important leaders in the world, asking for their suggestions about what all should become a part of these fundamental rights. What rights should be ensured to every citizen, every human being on the planet, irrespective of which country, wherever he lives. One such letter came to Nehru. Nehru replied that, look, I am very busy. I have become Prime Minister and we are going to become independent, because in 1946 he became the interim Prime Minister. So I don't have time for all these things, to think about all these things. But I have one fellow in my country who has not only time but ideas about everything under the sun. I will send this letter to him. Karke, he sends that letter to Gandhiji. Not that Gandhiji was sitting idle. Gandhiji was also going around the country attending to those right victims in Bihar, in Noakhali, in Bengal, and all those things. But in between his travels, sitting in a train, Gandhiji writes a reply. That reply is available on the internet. If you want to Google and see it, it will be there. It's there. In that, Gandhiji writes, my mother always told me that I don't have any rights. Now, this is a very obscurantist argument. No rights for people. But Gandhiji then adds, my mother used to say that you have certain duties to perform. If you perform your duties diligently, the rights of all others will be respected or protected. For example, we have to end the session at 1 o'clock. You should have good lunch at 1 o'clock. But suppose I continue to give a long lecture until 1:30. You have a right to eat your lunch at 1. But I forgot my responsibility to end the session at 1 o'clock, then your right is not protected. That's what Gandhiji said. If people follow their duties diligently, rights of others are protected. So he recommends to United Nations that, look, don't talk about only human rights, you also talk about human duties. Rights, duties, discourse is what is needed. United Nations did not heed to that advice, forget it. Indian constitution makers also did not heed to it. When India's constitution was made, there was no reference to duties. Only rights were enumerated. You know, Section 3 of our Constitution talks about fundamental rights, Article 14 to Article 36 or 35. It talks about fundamental rights. And if those rights are violated, you can go to court, you can drag even governments to court if your rights are violated, right to freedom, right to life, right to speech. Several fundamental rights, right to religion, right to education. Many rights were given, minority education. So, we did not include fundamental duties in that. Fundamental duties became a part of our constitution in 1976 through 42nd Amendment by Indira Gandhi during emergency. Only good thing she did at that time was this Article 51 Amendment. Introducing fundamental duties. 10 fundamental duties were enumerated, but the sad part is fundamental rights are enforceable, fundamental duties are not enforceable. Like if you don't follow the duty, nobody is going to do anything to you. If you don't follow the right, you will be punished. So very, very half-heartedly we did it. Now RSS today decided, no, those duties have to be sacred for people. Duty-conscious behavior, following the laws, law-abidingness, non-violence, certain fundamental duties. RSS is going to undertake a campaign to educate people. Why I'm saying this is, this organization has grown, survived and grown because of its forward-looking approach. People think that RSS is a backward organization. No. RSS is a very forward-looking organization. It's always looked forward. That is why in 75 it fought for democracy, preservation of democracy. That's why it campaigned for many great things futuristically. But RSS has a principle. That principle you all have to understand carefully. When it comes to modernity, which is generally the touchstone to decide whether you are a progressive or a retrograde, modernity, how modern you are. Based on that you decide who is progressive, who is not progressive. RSS has a formula. When it comes to idealism, RSS wants to be one step ahead of you, ahead of the rest of the society. Just one step, not 500 meters ahead. Because it's 500 meters ahead, you will say, oh, you are such a great person, but we can't be like you. So RSS wants to be one step ahead. But when it comes to so-called modernity, it wants to be one step behind, not very far behind. Just one step behind. We will also come. Everybody started wearing pants in the 80s and 90s. We took 20 more years to start wearing pants. I was in Boy Scouts. I don't know how many of you ever worked in Boy Scouts. Then I joined NCC. I have C certificate in NCC. Until my school days, until I completed my NCC, that was in 1978, we used to have shorts only in NCC. Pants came in 80s. ठीक है, एनसीसी में 80s में आए, आरएसएस में 2010 में आए, थोड़ा पीछे आते हैं, बट आते हैं हम भी. मॉडर्निटी में स्लो है, बट आइडियलिज्म में आगे है. That is RSS. Today, with that idealism, RSS is moving forward. So remember, RSS always looks about the future. RSS doesn't look about politics, doesn't look about religion, doesn't look about today. RSS always looks about tomorrow for the whole country, not just the whole country, by extension, the whole world. So we have to understand RSS in that sense through its 100-year journey and its futuristic vision. Dhanyavad.